Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. We're just going to hop onto the ladder as we continue to climb up with Ben Piercy's team that we featured in the last week. Of course, this upload schedule this week is a bit wonky since I'm really busy with in-real-life stuff, but I'm doing my best to get an episode out here and there, as we're actually going to find Nero Cho from Michigan with a rating of 1610 to kick off today's episode right away. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Ranked, please share support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Nero Cho here has got a really strong team of Gengar, Heatran, Virizion, Gastrodon, Mawile, and Hydreigon. So Mawile and Gastrodon is a core that I've seen a fair amount, not too much, but a bunch of notable players have used it to good success, and it's really strong to face against, so it's never really any fun. And Mawile is a Mega Evolution that's, not as popular this year as it was, say, last year, because there are more fire types that are around. Trick Room is a bit harder to set up and use effectively, though you could argue that it's, it goes both ways, just because you have more Trick Room users, but it's harder to really take advantage of those turns. But anyway, the Mawile here is a bit difficult to beat, but I do have Nidoqueen, which is incredibly helpful. I think Nidoqueen under Tailwind can be really good, but my opponent does have a Gengar, and Gengar is a Pokemon that can carry Trick Room or Icy Wind, and Trick Room here kind of makes sense since Heatran, Gastrodon, Mawile, Hydreigon are Pokemon that can kind of take advantage of it, so I don't really know what I'm to be expecting here, and it's always a bit scary. So, as always, figuring out what to lead with is most important right now. I don't think Scizor will be that great in this matchup in general, especially with Heatran. It doesn't do too much damage, really against anything. So I think Volcarona, here will be important. Right now I'm leaning towards leading with Salamence Volcarona. He doesn't have Intimidate on his team other than the Mawile, so if he, it's not like you're going to want to switch Mawile in against Salamence Volcarona. So I could potentially, Dragon Claw the Hydreigon to knock it out, try to set up Tailwind, get this Nidoqueen set up for the remainder of the game, I would say. And Breloom here is pretty decent offensively, so I'm going to lock in, and we'll see how this goes. This team is always a bit scary when you go up against really offensive teams that can resist your attacks, just because given the types of this team, all of the Pokemon on the team, you really need to take advantage of every turn you get, so you don't want to fall behind too quickly. But I'm going to lock in, and we're going to see what my opponent decides to bring. I do like Gastrodon a lot as a Pokemon, and I don't think it's seen too much usage, but it's a really strong Pokemon, especially with its amazing typing. I mean, Water and Ground allows you to resist attacks like Thunder Wave, and it's a really nice way to shut down Thundurus. So we're actually going to see the Hydreigon and Gengar from my opponent's end here against my Salamence and Volcarona. So Intimidate here, not going to matter too much, but let's see what he's going to go for. Not knowing the items here is really tricky, because of the fact that, the Hydreigon here could very well be Choice Scarfed, and if that's the case, he could outspeed and just get a Draco Meteor off immediately. But if he's Choice Scarfing, I don't know if Gengar, I don't think Gengar here is going to go for a, I really don't expect the Trick Room right now. I think I'm actually just going to Mega Evolve, Protect, and Tailwind first turn. If he has Trick Room, credits to him, then I'm going to have to really do some playing and get out of it. But, I don't know. This lead doesn't exactly scream Trick Room. But should be a interesting turn here. Gengar is also a Pokemon that often carries Focus Sash. If you look at my opponent's team, none of the other Pokemon are a Pokemon that would really carry a Focus Sash. Virizion typically likes the Lum Berry or the Life Orb. Gastrodon likes the Citrus Berry or Leftovers. Heatran also likes that Leftovers or maybe a Life Orb. Sometimes even Chopal, and Shucca Berry, actually, I should mention, probably the most common one. So this first one, I'm actually just going to choose to Mega Evolve and Protect. That way, if he doesn't have the Trick Room, then I'll have the speed advantage going into turn 2. So Salamence here is going to protect itself from any damage. Hydreigon does go for the Draco, but smartly targets down the Volcarona slot. Nicely done there. But he also outsped his Gengar, so that confirms to me that it is Choice Scarf Volcarona. So he does lose 2 special attack stages there, but now the question is, what does Gengar go for? Sludge Bomb, an Icy Wind, a Shadow Ball? It's going to be a Sludge Bomb, so fantastic double target there into the Volcarona slot. Is that enough to knock me out? Wow, it is, with the critical hit there. This Volcarona is really bulky, so I'm not sure if that crit mattered or not, but we're just going to have to play around it, unfortunately. So that really sets us back a lot, and that's a difficult turn to swallow up. Very nicely done on his end, though. I probably should have, I don't know, I really wanted to set up the Tailwind since Nidoqueen under Tailwind's so good, and the double target there was probably something I should have read into a bit better, but Gengar is also a Pokemon, like I mentioned, like carries Tailwind, and I was definitely a bit scared of that. That makes this a lot scarier. I guess I'll bring in Breloom here so I could get a Spore off, potentially. I could switch Salamence out here, though he could also be smart and double into Breloom. Tough call. That last turn did not go very well, and that's what I mean. Like, one big turn is all your opponent needs to take control of the match. Let's see. So Hydreigon here could just go straight for the Draco onto Salamence. Not knowing whether he has Icy Wind or not is also really, really tricky right now. And that Gengar presumably has a Focus Sash, which is also not good for my case. I mean, what I want to do right now is Dragon Claw Hydreigon and Spore Gengar. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. Let's see what he does. Okay, so he's going to stay in with Hydreigon. I'm going to go for another Draco Meteor. Going to target down that Salamence. I don't think this will be enough to knock it out. It shouldn't be. Salamence is pretty bulky. Yeah, hangs on with 37 HP. Cool. But if this Gengar is Icy Wind, then I'm really going to be done for. So I do at least pick up a knockout here onto Hydreigon with the Dragon Claw. Yeah, so that goes down in one hit. But no question here is, what does Gengar go for? Maybe a Will-O-Wisp, maybe a Sludge Bomb, maybe a Shadow Ball. Oh, actually goes for the Taunt there. I like that play a lot onto the Breloom. So I'm okay with that just because I end up, I would say, on the positive end here. I mean, Breloom doesn't take any damage, nor does it lose its Focus Sash, which is good. But the taunt there obviously sets me back a bit. If I actually went for the Bullet Seed on the Gengar there, I would have put it in return KO range, which would have been really good. But wasn't really expecting to taunt there. I thought he'd either double target onto the Salamence or the Breloom, go for a Will-O-Wisp or an Icy Wind. But that's why Gengar is such a good Pokemon. It's really versatile and carries so many different moves, so it's very difficult to anticipate what it's going to want to go for. You know, the Gengar that I ran in the beginning of the season used Sludge Bomb, Icy Wind, Will-O-Wisp, and Taunt, you know, opting not to go for Protect or Shadow Ball. But I have seen Gengars like to go for Shadow Ball just because it partners really nicely with that taunt. So he's gonna bring in Heatran now, and not a fun Pokemon to see. Let's see now. So I do have Superpower on this Breloom, but don't really know whether I want to use that or not. This is a really, really big turn here. If I don't play correctly, I'm gonna lose. So I really have to think this through. I do have the Nidoqueen sitting for me in the back. Now I could go for a Rock Slide, because if I get one flinch, then I'll be able to knock out the Heatran. And if his last Pokemon is Mawile, which I think it is, Nidoqueen can still win me this game. Oh, man, the Bullet Seed on the Gengar last time would have been a great play, actually. So let's see. Salamence can switch out, but I don't think that's the best play here. I think I need to attack here with Salamence. The question is, do I return or Rock Slide? So I could Rock Slide Superpower. I'm going to go for the Rock Slide play here. And Superpower into Heatran. Okay, but he makes a good play here, protects with Heatran. So once, I mean, still same case. So I flinch the Gengar here. I mean, I assume he's going to target down the Salamence slot. Then I can just return Superpower the next turn and potentially seal up the game. So that almost does 50%. He goes for the Sludge Bomb, targeting down the Breloom. Okay. So I like that play there. And it does bring me down to my Focus Sash. So you know, he made the better play there. I could have switched out into Nidoqueen there. Perhaps a bit early going for that flinch immediately, but definitely felt the pressure. So with that, I'm going to go for the return here onto Gengar. I would guess his Heatran is faster. I could switch into Nidoqueen right now. Conserve my Breloom, and then I can protect the following turn. Yeah, I'm going to do that here. What could I have done better last turn? Not much, really. I mean, I could have switched out into Nidoqueen, but it's not like Nidoqueen would have put me in a considerably better position, and the main reason why I didn't want Nidoqueen to be too damaged was because I know he potentially has the Mawile or mainly the Mawile in the back, but even against the Virizion, you know, can Sludge Bomb for a knockout. But at this point, you know I get the speed advantage on Gengar. And dealing with Heatrans with this team is just really annoying, because you kind of rely on Nidoqueen and setting up Tailwind, which is why I wanted that Tailwind so badly on that first turn, but unfortunately I didn't get it. But, you know, that's what happens when your opponent makes really good plays. The double up into the Pokemon that's not protecting. So, going to bring out Nidoqueen here. Let's see what he goes for. Yep, no Protect coming out from Gengar, so return comes out, picks up the knockout there. I presume Heatran will go for a Heat Wave. Yep. Let's see if that's enough to knock out the Salamence. If not... Oh, Salamence hangs on with 1 HP. Wow, that's crazy. So let's see what his last one is. Gonna be that Gastrodon. Okay, so that's also why I want to conserve Breloom, because I didn't really have a good way to beat Gastrodon otherwise. Now we're in for a really interesting turn. Okay, so this game is definitely not over yet. But that was a clutch survival there from the Salamence. So I could go for the double protect here, or I could double target into one of his Pokemon. I don't know. I mean, you would expect Heatran to protect here, right? I think I'm going to go for the double protect play here. See what he goes for. Now, this is always a risky play, especially if the Pokemon carries a substitute. So Heatran's a Pokemon that typically likes carrying substitutes. So I am putting myself in slight risk here by going for the double. But now I'm willing to take that risk right now, especially because even if he gets it, then what I can do is double into the Heatran slot the following turn with the return Earth Power, knock the slot out, and then Breloom will be able to one-hit KO the Gastrodon. So I am pretty relieved to see Gastrodon as my opponent's last Pokemon, but this is definitely not over yet. However, that Salamence hanging on with 1 HP, really, really clutch, and it's a testament to Salamence's typing in bulk. So Salamence here, gonna go for the protect, those Heatran protect right now. Let's see. Nidoqueen protects first. I don't think he outspeed Heatran, so I'm guessing he went for the attack or the sub this turn with Heatran. No, he did protect. Oh, wow, that's big news, too, knowing that Nidoqueen's faster. And Gastrodon goes for the Scald onto Nidoqueen. So, given that Heatran protected last turn, now I'm just going to go straight for the return on a Gastrodon and the Earth Power here onto Heatran. So, we might speed... I mean, I doubt we speed high here. I mean, I think he might have to go for the double protect here with Heatran. I don't know if he realizes that I'm faster with my Nidoqueen, but that's why going for the double protect play is always kind of helpful too, because if your opponent protects, you know, it gives you a sense of the speed. Of course, at this point in the game, it's going to be whether he gets the double or not, but I'm really, really relieved that, you know, no substitute came out from that Heatran last turn, and, you know, I could have doubled up into the Gastrodon slot, but at that point, I didn't want to take that risk, because if he, for example, protected with Gastrodon, just went for a Heat Wave, and the Heatran was faster, I would have been done for, so not a risk I really wanted to take, but seeing that Nidoqueen should be faster than Heatran here, and my Breloom should be faster than Nidoqueen, I definitely think that this game is far from over, and in fact, I actually probably have the advantage right now, and this is a pretty big turn right now, as well. Because even if he gets the double protect here with Heatran, as he's not going to go for it. Okay, so I get the return off against Gastrodon, does so much damage there. Nidoqueen's going to outspeed, going to proc this Shucca Berry though. Is it enough to allow the Heatran to survive? No, it's not. Oh, Life Orb, Sheer Force, Nidoqueen is so good. So Heatran goes down in one hit, even with that Shucca Berry on Heatran. And, you know, that was an item I mentioned earlier on when I was talking about potential items on Heatran. You should probably actually expect to see a lot of Shucca Berry Heatrans at the World Championships, I would say, just because, you know, protects you from one Earthquake from Landorus and allows you to survive other attacks. You know, Earthquake from, like, Salamence, Earth Power from Landorus if it's not boosted. But, you know, Nidoqueen's so powerful here, it still manages to pick up the knockout. So, we should be able to pick up a win here. And Salamence is going to get this return off, and that will be enough to pick up the knockout on a Gastrodon. So very, very great game there to my opponent. I honestly thought it was over after that first turn, but that's why you never give up, right? You always got to find a way to win and see what you can do, and make sure you play until the end and conserve your win conditions. But that was a really, really fun game, and my opponent had some pretty cool stuff there too. I always love seeing Scarf Hydreigon, since I actually used Scarf Hydreigon and Gengar in the beginning of the season. So it's always cool to see those two being used. And Gengar really gave me some trouble there because I didn't know what moves it carried, and that's why in best of one it's so difficult. You know, without knowing whether it carries Protect or not, stuff like that, it just makes it 10 times harder. But just gonna hop back onto the ladder and look for our second game of today's episode. Other interesting things to note in that game, I mean, that's why this team is also so good as well. Even though if you fall behind quickly, it has the ability to pick up one-hit KOs on a lot of Pokemon in the format, especially with this Nidoqueen with Ice Beam, Sludge Bomb, and Earth Power. And that's why Nidoqueen is such a darn good Pokemon on this team. But, you know, I did have that Breloom in the back for the Gastrodon in the late game as well. Unfortunately enough, you know, I didn't need to bring it, but it's all a testament to that Salamence surviving with 1 HP. So we're going to get into the second match of the day. Opponents rocking a bit more standard team with Kangaskhan, Landorus, Sylveon, Heatran, Thundurus, and Amoonguss. So let's see what I want to lead with. Once again, another Heatran. I really do not like facing Heatrans. So I could go Latios. Now Latios here for the Ice Beam onto Landorus is obviously great, but he's got Sylveon, he's got Heatran, he's got Thundurus, which can Thunder Wave it, Kangaskhan, which can go for the Sucker Punch or the Fake Out. So I don't know. I don't like that. And I want the Scizor here for the Bullet Punch against the Sylveon, but it doesn't fare very well against the majority of the other Pokemon. I think Nidoqueen here can be really good. I don't want to go with Salamence, Latios, but I don't know. I foresee Kangaskhan, Landorus as the lead of my opponent's end. It's a really strong lead, one that I can't really do very much against. And I do have Breloom. Let's see. It's not like I really want to bring Volcarona out against that. I mean, Nidoqueen could be helpful there, I guess. something like Salamence Nidoqueen. Yeah, I actually really like Salamence and Nidoqueen here. Gives me a lot of options from the get-go. So I'm going to go with those two. Do I want Volk here? I think I still want Latios for that Ice Beam against Landorus, in case I ever am in that position. And for the last one, all of these would be nice. Scizor gives me better Kangaskhan and Sylveon matchup. Breloom here can get the superpower off, but you know, what risk? Yeah, I think I'm actually going to bring the Scizor here. We'll lock in, yeah. Tough call here. You know, you would think it's not very good, but Fairy kind of just runs over this team, and we've had a lot of games where, like, Mega Gardevoir and Sylveon gave us a lot of trouble, so I'm going to bring the Scizor here, and Kangaskhan Sylveon, you know, is really, really good against the majority of my team, and without a switch in there, it's really, really risky, so I'm going to end up bringing it. We're going to see the Kangaskhan Thundurus lead from my opponent here, which I'm okay with, against my Salamence and Nidoqueen, so I do get the Intimidate off right from the get-go against his Kangaskhan, but obviously he puts on some pressure with this Thundurus being able to Thunder Wave or Hidden Power Ice my Salamence. So let's see what my options are right now. I can switch into Latios. Probably don't want to do that. I can switch into Scizor. That's not as bad as a switch. Now this first turn, he's probably going to, what, fake out Thunder Wave? Something like that. I don't want Salamence to get paralyzed here. I really don't. Then again, I guess if I could pick up a knockout onto Kang, that would be great. So, I mean, Salamence being paralyzed isn't the end of the world. The main reason why I want to be it to paralyze so we can return the Sylveon. So let's see. The Protect is kind of obvious from Salamence here. I could definitely see my opponent like doubling up into Nidoqueen. For that reason, I don't want to Protect with Salamence. I think I'm just going to actually go straight for the return. And Earth Power. I'll double up into it. Kind of a risky play here, but, you know, gotta play risky. Rock Slide would have been nice against the Thundurus to potentially put it in KO range here, but I really want Kangaskhan gone right now. Especially with the Latios in the back, which he can Sucker Punch. But Thundurus is going to be annoying to deal with, that's for sure. Not like but see, the Volcarona is nice because you get redirection with a Rage Powder. Helps out against Kangaskhan here. So he's going to go for the Fake Out, launching it into Nidoqueen, okay. So I take some damage here. Let's see if Thundurus, you know, tries to be clever and double into it. Oh, I guess we're seeing a Hidden Power Ice come out here. Return does a lot of damage there. He's going to go for a Hidden Power targeting who? Yep, doubles up in a Nidoqueen. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Though I should have protected there with Nidoqueen since, you know, that was kind of the prediction I was making there. But you know what? I'll take that. So I definitely got the better end of that turn. I could have went for a really aggressive read and protected with Nidoqueen. But I got a lot of free damage off. Not free, I mean, obviously Nidoqueen took a lot of damage. And Nidoqueen's actually really important in this match, so I'm not sure how pleased I am with that. I don't think Rock Slide will knock out Kangaskhan, which is kind of an issue. He might also Sucker Punch and Hidden Power Ice Nidoqueen. That'd be a really good play. Let's see. Man, if I protected last turn with Nidoqueen, I'd be in such a good position right now. But you know what? It's fine. We'll take that. We take those. I might actually want to switch out here into Scizor. Let's see, you're probably expecting Return coming out right now. Yeah, I'm actually going to Protect and switch out into Scizor. There's little risk here. He's actually going to withdraw the Kangaskhan, which I'm fine with here. In comes the Heatran, okay. Man, if I Rock Slide Earth Power there, I would have been in such a good position, but I don't know. I didn't want to lose Nidoqueen since I wanted to conserve it for the Heatran, but ironically, my opponent ended up bringing it in here. So, passive turn, and unfortunately, by making this passive turn, it gives my opponent a slight opportunity to get back into this one. Yeah, he actually launched the Hidden Power Ice here onto the Nidoqueen slot, so Rock Slide would have been a really good play. So, unfortunately, not a fantastic turn for me here. Especially with the Scizor coming out here. It's not a good Pokemon to have out. Let's see. You're probably not going to protect. I would just Hidden Power Ice Heat Wave here. Don't have great switch-ins to that. Definitely don't have great switch-ins to that. So I'll go for the Rock Slide here, I guess, and switch out into Latios. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, well, let's see if he's smart enough to Hidden Power Ice me right now. Because, well, if he doesn't, I could get a flinch. He actually goes for the Thunder Wave, which I'm more than okay with, since at least it means Salamence sticks around for another turn, which gives me an opportunity to switch out or not. But he gets the full paralysis on Salamence. And he launches a Heat Wave. Salamence avoids it, but yeah, it's not what I wanted to see there. Connects with Latios there. Doesn't do too much damage, but not too happy about that. Yeah, this is why if I could make a change to this team, I'd probably add Hidden Power Ground or Earthquake to Salamence. Or Hidden Power Ground to Latios or Earthquake to Salamence, since having no way to touch Heatran other than Earth Power from Nidoqueen and Super Power from Breloom is somewhat concerning. So let's see what I can do here. I don't know, he might expect a Protect from Salamence and go for the Thunder Wave onto Latios. You know what, I'm going to still Protect here. I want to conserve Salamence for a bit longer. And I'll go for the Ice Beam here onto Thundurus. I think Ice Beam should be a 2-hit KO since this Latios is really, really strong and Modest nature. Modest Latios is incredibly good. Okay, Salamence protects. But he makes the better play here. Goes for the Thunder Wave there onto Latios. Nice read. That makes things a bit trickier. Okay. And he gets another full paralysis. Are you kidding me? And he goes for the sub on a Heatran. Wow. So, Rock Slide there would have really been nice, but given the full paralysis in this game, I don't even know. That's really demoralizing. But he did make the better play that turn, so I can't really say much. And yeah, that's why I think Sub Heatran is a huge, huge threat to this team. So I could switch out now. I don't even know. Yeah, I think this game is lost right now. I mean, I can't tell you how good Sub Heatran is against this team. It's like the worst matchup imaginable. But those two full paralysis in a row means that Thundurus gets another turnaround. You'd probably hit him Power Ice, Salamence, and Heat Wave here. There is absolutely nothing I can do to really stop that. Yeah, this really sucks. Could go for a double Protect. That's not really doing me much favors. I might have to just say goodbye to a Salamence here. I'll go for the Rock Slide and the Ice Beam. That last turn was pretty terrible. I should have gone for the Rock Slide with Salamence. Yeah, I substitute on Heatran with something like I should have had in the back of my mind. I actually hang out with 35 HP. Let's see if Salamence can hang out with 1 HP once again. That would be really clutch. Salamence doesn't want to give up this fight yet. He's going to hang out with 2 HP here. I'm going to get this Ice Beam off against the Thundurus. So let's see if I can connect with the Rock Slide at least. Give me a small window of opportunity to at least, win this game. But a third full paralysis. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's why Thundurus is so good, and that's why I prioritize knocking it out. But I played a bit too passive this game. Like, that turn where he switched in Heatran for free, I didn't go for the Rock Slide. The turn where I protected Salamence and he Thunder Wave Latios. I mean, this is still a very difficult game to win, even if I made the right plays every turn, but gave my opponent too many chances. And I needed to knock out the substitute there. So that's really not good for me. No free switch into Heat Wave either, which really stinks. Yeah, I'll just go for another Rock Slide Ice Beam here. I think the game is... I needed to knock out the substitute there, and now I have no way to knock it out. So he's just going to launch another Hidden Power. I mean, I guess if he misses Heat Wave here on Salamence, right? But I'm not counting... Well, yeah, he's going to connect with both of them. So Heat Wave comes out and knocks out poor Salamence. And Latios hangs on with 25 HP, but... Thundurus got like 2 extra attacks off than it really should have been able to get off. I was expecting the full paralysis there, honestly, on Latios. No full paralysis there. At least I get the knockout here on the Thundurus. But too late at this point, honestly. The only way I can still win this one is if my Nidoqueen outspeeds Heatran, survives the Heat Wave. Actually, I don't think I can win this one at all. Yeah, I just don't. Let's try to think of something. So he hasn't revealed his 4th Pokemon yet. I would guess it's going to be Landorus, maybe Sylveon, or a Moongus. I mean, if it's a Moongus, I'm done for. 100% done for. So do I bring Nidoqueen or Scizor right now? If I bring in Scizor, I can protect and sack Latios, but then he just gets a free Heat Wave off. So I think I'm going to bring in Nidoqueen. If his last one is Sylveon, I don't think I can win this one. It's going to be, he's just going to switch Kangaskhan back in, which is the best play. So I'm going to go for the Protect here and the Ice Beam. But unless he messes up here, he misses Heat Wave. Because he could go for the Fake Out onto Nidoqueen and the Heat Wave comes out. Nope, he's going to Fake Out the Latios. And I actually like that play a lot because by, you get the knockout there, you launch a Heat Wave out, I've got Scizor in the back. He actually goes for the Earth Power there. So it's not like Scizor was a bad call here, because I have a strong feeling my opponent's last Pokemon is going to be the Sylveon. But, okay, if he misses Heat Wave here and his last one is Sylveon, or I can still do it. It's the only way. I'm going to go for the Bullet Punch on a King. Actually, no, all he has to do is Earth Power Nidoqueen and I lose. So, yeah, it's going to be game here. And Sub Heatran, man, I can't tell you how good it is, especially against this team. I'm actually very curious as to Ben beat it at Nationals. He actually goes for the Sucker Punch there onto Nidoqueen. Actually just picks up the knockout. Yeah, so really nothing I could have done this game. My opponent was one step ahead of me basically the majority of the game. And, you know, getting those 3 full paralysis with Latios and Salamence didn't help my case. But I could have played a lot better, I think, on the offensive end here. So he's going to launch a Heat Wave here. I'm not even going to find out what his 4th Pokemon is. You know, if it were Sylveon, I feel a bit better about the Scizor choice here. But Scizor does absolutely nothing against this substitute Heatran. And once again, I got to reiterate, that's why I think this team needs more firepower in terms of ground type attacks, but probably actually going to shoot Ben a message and ask him how he dealt with Sub Heatran with leftovers, since I really just ran over and was the MVP of this match without being able to set up Tailwind. And I don't know, setting up Tailwind here was kind of difficult, though. I mean, with Thundurus with Taunt and Landorus with Rock Slide, it's just a bit hard to manage. And then Heatran also just walls the Volcarona as well. So Pokemon choice wise, I don't think it was the worst. I think Volcarona could have been good for redirection against the Thundurus's Thunder Waves. If anything, I probably would have brought it over Scizor, just because at least it can resist Hyper Voices from Sylveon. So Pokemon choice, that's probably the one I would have made, and then I would have tried to shut down Thundurus a bit earlier, but unfortunately, you know, I wasn't even able to get a chance to with all those full paralysis. But that's why Volcarona would have helped me out, since you could redirect attacks away and then, you know, just try to 2-hit KO, especially with the Latios. But a great game to my opponent there, and really well managed with the Sub Heatran there, and that's why Heatran is such a good Pokemon and why Sub Heatran is such a good set. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like always if you did, and I'll see you next time. Alright, peace.